Hello, my name is Tabitha Davies. I'm a certified professional dog trainer and associate certified dog behavior consultant, fear-free certified trick dog instructor, an AKC CGC evaluator, and a professionally certified nutritional consultant for dogs and cats. And this presentation is specifically on lowering fear, anxiety, and stress during the holidays, environmental management solutions, training, and preparation to aid your fearful pup and you in reducing your stress levels and increasing the enjoyment overall throughout the holiday season. So first we need to understand what FAS is. So that's fear, anxiety, and stress. And all animals, regardless of dog or cat or human or horse, will exhibit fear, anxiety, and stress levels. And for people, it's very intrinsic because we have the ability to process this. With animals, it's not. So we have actually learned through studying and observation skills what FAS levels, sorry, clear my throat here for a second, look like in a dog. So this actually is a stop sign, or stop light, and we're going to start at the very bottom. So the low FAS levels, which are 0 and 1, are our area where this is what we normally see day to day. Throughout our day, throughout doing things in our normal day-to-day routine, we normally see low fear, anxiety, and stress levels in our dogs. So it means that your dog readily accepts treats and toys and or attention, is relaxed, or mild signs of FAS depending on what might be going outside the window or whatever. Nutraceutical PVP, not really necessary at this point. And level 0, no signs of fear, anxiety, and stress. The pet displays very relaxed body language, solicits social interactions with team members. This is more of a specific stoplight that is addressing veterinary care, but applies to all aspects of your life. So you would replace team members with family. You would replace team members with strangers outside. So as we go through here, you can see the word team members or the word team, and you can actually kind of interject the situational necessity of that. Level 1 is where they display 1 or 2 mild signs of fear, anxiety, and stress, such as lip licking, avoiding eye contact, turning head away without moving away, lifting a paw. A lot of people think that their dog is just trying to get them to shake, like they're offering a paw over and over and over again. And those are actually signs of increased levels of FAS, which can come from over-arousal, it can come from a stressful situation or something that they're afraid of. In dog body language, lifting a paw is actually saying please. So please plus whatever body language is happening around it. Partially dilated pupils. Panting, but the commissure of the lips is very relaxed. It occurs fewer than 4 times a minute. So you get some little pants here and then you're done. You're not dealing with the tight-mouthed panting where you can see that the lips and the smile is really, really open and the dog's like just panting away. And the animal chooses to interact with team members. When we hit our caution side, which is our level 2 and level 3, and it's our point where we need to turn things around. This is our yellow light. It's where we have moderate interest or disinterest in treats, toys, and or attention. We have fidgeting, difficulty settling. This is where we might consider pharmaceutical intervention and nutraceutical PVP. We have level 2 displays 1 to 2 moderate signs of FAS, such as ears slightly back or to the side, tail down, furrowed brow, moving slowly, overly attention seeking, so climbing up on top of you, height seeking, touching you a lot, nudging you with their paws or their head, panting with a tighter mouth, occurring 4 or fewer times a minute, readily accepts reinforcement, treats, toys, and attention, and is still soliciting social interaction with the team members. Level 3 displays more than 2 moderate signs of FAS occurring more than 4 times in a minute. May refuse reinforcements for brief periods. So you might show them a piece of cheese, they might sniff at it, but they're not going to take it. Then they'll come back a second or 2 later and they'll grab it. Might take treats roughly. This is where you get like the snapping, ow, you hurt my fingers because you took that treat so hard moments because they're not really focused on you. And they're taking it because it's there, but it's not quite enough to override their focus. May also be hesitant to interact with team members, but not actively avoiding team members. So they are asking for distance, but they're not trying to run away. Once we pass our moderate FAS, you are at the removal point. You can no longer redirect it. You can no longer use environmental management or mitigate it. At this point, you need to remove the dog from the situation. You're going to have the dog who has little to no interest in treats, toys, and or attention, is in fight, flight, or freeze mode. This is where you would need sedation, pharmaceutical, and nutraceutical PVP interventions. For those who are not aware of this, because you haven't taken my prior classes before, nutraceutical PVP is where we do like more holistic supplements, and we do our licky mats, and we do our adaptals and our pheromones, and adjusting the environment to helping with the animal. We're not quite into the medication stage. So level 4, severe signs of FAS without aggression, such as immobility, fidgeting, escape behaviors, dilated pupils, excessive panting, increased respiratory rate, trembling, tense closed mouth, ears back and or tails tucked or thrashing with the cat, may or may not be accepting any types of reinforcement at all, not interested in interacting with team members, and may be showing active avoidance, moving away behaviors, escape behaviors essentially. Level 5 is where you get bit, and this is where you have severe signs of FAS with aggression, such as growling, lunging, barking, hissing, snarling, and or snapping, and intolerant of procedures. In our day-to-day lives, whether we're at the veterinary office, the groomer, we're in the kitchen, we're out on a walk, we want to be cognizant of where our animals are at, and we want to make sure that we're setting them up for success, because nobody wants to deal with a bite, but nobody wants to deal with unintentionally increasing their dog's anxiety levels. And especially around the holidays, that can be something that is hugely triggering and uncomfortable for a lot of animals. So preparing you and your animals ahead of time is going to help make your holidays a much, much less stressful and more enjoyable event. Forms of environmental management that you can use during any point in time, but especially during the holidays, are crates or separate rooms. Now make sure that you've already trained them to this. You've already done lots of crate games. Your dogs have spent lots of positive time in the crates or in their separate rooms to, you know, be decompressed and away from you without stress there. Carpets and or blankets over windows and towels and under doors to help noise reduction. So if you have a dog that sits at the doorway and they sniff, 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 and it's that heavy kind of sound that you get right at the base of the door, and they're panting, you know, in the room, or they're scratching at the door and whining, then that's a dog who's stressed in that area. And putting a towel underneath there can help stop not only bringing in some of those sounds, but also bringing in a lot of those odors. So they'll still get some, but not as heavily. You can put during 4th of July or New Year's, when people do fireworks and poppers and stuff, you can hang carpeting like area rugs over the windows. You can add heavy comforters over the windows. That helps a lot block out a lot of the sounds that are coming in. If you know you're having a large party and your dog can't handle that, you can also do things like that inside the room temporarily without damaging your walls or your home, and create more of a noise inhibitive environment. You can diffuse lavender or chillax dog. If you are local to us, there is a fabulous woman in Cathedral City who runs Rouge Aromatics, and she does the chillax dog spray, and we absolutely love it. You can diffuse it, you can spray it directly on your dog, you can spray it in the room. It smells amazing, but it's olfactory therapy for your dogs, which is like aromatherapy for dogs. You can play reggae or classical music or soft rock. They have been statistically proven to lower the FAS levels in dogs. You can use thunder shirts as a form of sensory compression therapy. You can diffuse DAP, dog appeasement pheromone, or use an adaptable collar on the dog directly if you don't have a very enclosed space. You can cover the crate with a blanket to block visibility if necessary. You can use baby gates to restrict access to hallways or areas that will pique reactivity or hyperactivity by hearing somebody coming down the doorway. You can use window covers or foam board to block window visibility, basket muzzle training, and conditioning. So it's great to have just in case of an emergency. Your dog's not going to be as stressed wearing that. They can wear it for a longer period of time, especially if there's an injury or first aid needs to be administered. Just knowing how to use that is essential, but it also helps if you have a dog who, you know, is working on their skills and you would like to be able to bring them out and not have to worry about any teeth making contact in case we as the humans make an error. Umbilical lining the dog to your waist. This is a huge one. You can use a 4-foot leash or a 6-foot leash. Do not go anything further than that. That allows you to be more in control of the dog and the situation and remove them yourself and have your hands free to do what you need to do throughout the day. Interventions and enrichment. So you need to begin classically counter conditioning and desensitizing to door knocking and doorbell ringing well ahead of time. You need to begin conditioning to spending time in a separate room while others are moving about the house. You can utilize a two-way camera, such as a Wise camera, which I find are the easiest to use and most affordable. They're between $20 and $36 and they're fantastic. You can speak through them. You can hear the dogs. You can see the dogs. It can set alarms off, etc. You can use a Ring camera if you have one. You can use a Furbo. I find it to be a very expensive treat dispenser, but you can also talk to your dog through them. They can hear you. You can see your dog, and it'll notify you of movement or noise on all of those. You can use a treat and train to reward calm behavior while you're in a different room. They're on sale usually towards like the fall season, getting towards the holidays, and they're usually under $100. So that would be a time that I would highly suggest picking one up. I think last year's was like $97, and I'm waiting to see what this year's comes up to. So um, it's always a good option to have. You can use the remote control. You can reinforce all the nice, calm, quiet behavior. You can check on the camera and dispense one if you need to. Still comes out to being less than a Furbo and holds about 4 cups of food. You can use licky mats to aid in relaxation. Those can be covered with yogurt, gravy, peanut butter, honey, canned dog food, pate, your dog's food mixed with something else and smeared across there and thrown in the freezer. Snuffle mats to reduce stress while rewarding. This is only going to be applicable for dogs that are not going to eat the snuffle mat. You can use food dispensing toys. You can use a Kong wobbler. You can use a frozen Kong. You can use a Stuffable by Kong. You can use the West Paw toys. You can use a Holy Roller. Scent pads are really good. You can get some little carpet samples from Home Depot or Lowe's, and you can add some smells to them and give them to them, throughout the room for them to be able to go and sniff and scratch at and figure out what is this, smells kind of good. You can practice making separation delightful in very short increments. Things to discuss with your veterinarian. The possibility of short-term medications to alleviate anxiety. Doing a trial run of some of the medications to see which one helps the most, because the last thing you want to do is be stuck over Thanksgiving or Christmas when none of the vet's offices are open except the emergency clinics, and the medication that your vet gave you 3 weeks ago at your appointment doesn't work, or works a little bit but not enough. Over-the-counter medication combinations, you can discuss with your vet with those as well. Medications used off-label to aid in sedation. If you have a dog that really can't handle this, but also can't handle being boarded, and you're not going to have people over for a very long time, this is something you might want to consider to completely remove the FAS levels of the dog. Yes, you're still going to get them up. They're still going to go to the bathroom, but they're not going to be as coherent or care. They're going to be nice and relaxed. The risks and side effects of all of the medications that you could be giving to your dog. Find out from your veterinarian, do they offer boarding where your dog may be more comfortable and has access to medications if needed? Do they recommend a staff member or a sitter who can stay in the other room with your dog while you're having your friends and family over? You can get a complete physical and lab work just to ensure going into a stressful time that your dog is healthy and free of non-visible medical problems. Now this one is huge. Last year we had 2 clients just before Christmas that I recommended this to. They went ahead and did it, and one of them had their labs done about 6 months. And now you have to realize that as a dog ages and develops, that 6-month time period is equal to 5 or 10 human years. So for every year that a dog ages is equal to 10 to 20 years for a person. And that's pretty rapid, considering the amount of change that occurs in people during that time frame. So when we have a dog and we know that we are getting labs done, a lot can change in 6 months. And for one of them, she had renal issues, which actually removed half the medications and changed her diet significantly that were going to be prescribed and offered to be used with her. The other one we found out had some pretty significant bladder infection issues going on that she was not displaying any symptoms of, and had we not known that, it could have gotten really, really, really bad. She had some crystals that were forming, so it was just one of those little good surprises that ended up happening where they were both taken care of instead of potentially having something disastrous happen. Determine what rules. Now this one is huge because when it boils down to it, it is your home. And you are bringing your family and your friends into your home you can celebrate with them, you can spend quality time with them, and you can enjoy each other. But that does not mean that you are not allowed to set boundaries. Boundaries are healthy. Effective communication on those boundaries is difficult, but is also healthy. So determining what rules serve your dog the best, be it nobody is allowed to go past this baby gate into that hallway. If you need to use the bathroom, you have to go across to the other side of the house, use that bathroom. You know, telling the grandkids there's not going to be any running up and down in this section of the house. You can go outside to do it in the backyard. Telling people that, you know, I would love to have you come over, but your dogs may not come over because it's going to be too overwhelming. These are okay things. You're not telling people, and most people will take them in a very positive light. We always feel like if we have to ask something that could potentially inconvenience somebody, that we're doing something wrong, when really what we're doing is we're advocating for our family. So areas to avoid, rooms that are off limits, no treats, no pets, etc. And that can be something where you can come in here and you can celebrate with us, but nobody is allowed to touch the dog. Nobody is allowed to talk to the dog. Nobody's allowed to feed the dog, except for the owner. That means that nobody's going to approach the dog. So the dog has more space and the dog feels more secure in their environment, and they don't have to be up in another room. Put a nice looking sign on the door that states the rules in different colors on the front door to bring attention. Black writing on yellow paper is the easiest for all eyes to see. Reiterate boundaries with each guest as a part of your welcome. Remember your home, your dog, your safety rules. If you're nervous, practice with strangers, friends, neighbors, etc. until it becomes second nature around your dog. Do not ever be afraid to reinforce your rules. Post your rules at the entrance, even included in your invitation. And if somebody is doing something wrong, you can just politely say, Mavis, yeah, she doesn't like to be petted, so we're just going to make sure we give her lots of space. But I have my dog over here. If you want to go say hi to her, she would love that. Oh, that'd be fabulous. You know what? I'll give you her special treat. You can just toss it to her from across the room. It would make her day. You're taking control of the situation. You're not having to be put in a position where you feel like you're yelling at somebody or being the bad guy. You're advocating for your dog, and you're doing so in a compassionate and fun-loving way with your friends and your family. If you have further questions about how to mitigate FAS levels during the holiday, feel free to reach out to us and let us know. 760-278-4248 is our number. You can call or text. Info at All Big Canines, spelled out. Make sure canines is spelled out. CANINES.com. And we will get back to you. If it is the actual holidays, because I would hope that these come in ahead of time, I might not be able to get to them. We don't go out and do anything. We do celebrate with family, and I sometimes have training clients' dogs that stay with us over the holidays. So I hope you enjoyed this. And again, if you have further questions, feel free to find us and let us know, or post it on our Facebook page, facebook.com/allbigcanines.